Hi. I will be doing a short demo of Apache Atlas data management catalog. But before that, I would like to mention a few words about metadata. So the most common definition of metadata is data about data, but it is misleadingly simple. The kind of information that can be classified as metadata is wide-ranging. Metadata includes information about technical and business processes, about data rules and constraints, and logical and physical data structures. So it describes the data itself, like for example, databases, data elements, data models. It describes the concepts the data represents, for example, business processes, application systems, technology infrastructure, and the connections between the data and the concepts. So metadata contributes to the ability to process, maintain, integrate, audit, and govern other data. In order to understand what role data management should play, imagine a large library with hundreds of thousands of books, but no card catalog. Without a card catalog, readers might not even know how to start looking for a specific book or even a specific topic. So across an organization, different individuals will have different levels of data knowledge, but no one individual will know everything about the data. So this knowledge will be quite fragmented. And this information should be documented and gathered in a central catalog uh, to avoid risk of losing valuable information about uh, the organization. It is also necessary to ensure that an organization can identify private or sensitive data and that it can manage the data lifecycle in order to meet compliance requirements and minimize risk exposure. So, in order to become data-driven, an, an organization must become metadata-driven first. So let's have a look on what areas of data management that are represented in Atlas. So we have some of these areas are already present, well functioning in Atlas, like for example, data assets, lineage, governance, and glossary. And others are in the roadmap under development, so to speak. And the roadmap of Atlas is quite interesting. For example, we have open metadata and governance, which is an open APIs, notification and frameworks for an open ecosystem for metadata management and governance. We have triggering metadata discovery pipelines automatically as new data sources descriptions are added to Apache Atlas. And we have also graph database strategy, um, which is quite interesting. And another thing is also integration between HBase and Spark. So this is the high level architecture of Atlas, and um, it consists of the core, which is basically HBase, Solr, and Titan. That is graph database. In the integration communication layer, Atlas uses REST APIs for to communicate with applications, and it uses Kafka. So for the components that are like Hive that are closely integrated with Atlas, the Kafka messaging queue is used. Um, this is the basic data model of Atlas. So those are the information entities that can be stored. And if we look at the base model, for example, so here if we create a data set, it will inherit from referenceable and asset, which I will demonstrate now. So this is the Atlas GUI, and as you can see, we can do a basic search, advanced search. We can create tags and taxonomy, that is business catalog. We can make a search here. A little bit slow. So already here we can see the owner, the tags, and here we can see the lineage. This information has been provided by a Java program using REST API. Um, we can see the information about columns and so on and so on. So let's go to the command prompt. And here, for example, I communicate with Atlas using REST API, and I create a file repo that is a type and that it inherits from referenceable and asset. And I also create an entity that is an instance of a file repo, and here is a name. And I use curl to send that information to Atlas. So that is one way. Similar way, for example, using Java would look something like that, like this. And of course we can use Kafka. So what will happen here is that I start a Kafka consumer that listens to Atlas hook topic, and I go to Hive prompt, and I create a simple table that is the result of join between two tables here, branch A and branch B. So let's fire this, and it's gonna take a while. So now Hive sends so the metadata will be stored in the meta store, and as soon as that happens, the data is sent to Kafka, and it arrives here, as you can see, and hopefully I'll be able to find the table in the catalog as well. Here it is. So now I can see information about that table. I can see what tables had been involved in the process, information about the process, the lineage. So it is create table, and I can even see lineage on column level. Um, and of course information about where in the where the data is stored physically. Let's see. And here is the information about the physical storage of data, and of course tags and what have you. But so this was a short demo of Atlas, and thank you for your attention.